Well, my hot glue gun is hot, aptly named. And what I did on eBay, I just bought Buy It Now. Click to add to shopping cart. I bought an official iPhone holder upper thing. So maybe I can retire. Okay, could this be any more difficult? I have an extension cord that is 20 miles long, wrapped around itself. Do I even need an extension cord? Probably not. Shit. God damn it. You see what's happening? What I have is a gooseneck lamp base tied and gaffer taped, duct taped to a selfie stick thing that I bought at the dollar store, and it's held up perfectly fine, except that it's the counterweight and everything of it is a little less steady, so it tends to fall over or not be able to go in as many places as I'd like it to go. So I'm thinking that the $8 thing might work better. I do like, however, jury-rigged stuff. It sort of fits my life and my thinking. And it works generally well for me, but because I'm kind of doing this YouTube stuff a lot, I figure I should probably get something that maybe I could clamp onto something that way, so the thing is not in my arm. See, if I move my arm, it hits the thing that causes the camera to jiggle. And lose the shoe that lost the war that Jack built or whatever. So if there's a way for me to tidy up my ship a little bit, I would like to do that. So what do you think I'm doing now, which you can't see much of? Is that your guess? Is that your final? You want a little lifeline? You want to ask someone else? No, that's what you're going to say? Well, you would be wrong. That's not what I'm doing. Anyone else want to hazard a guess as to what I'm doing? You think you know? What do you think I'm doing? No. That's what you think I should do with it. I didn't ask what I should do with this. I'm asking what is it that I'm doing. God, these people can be just nasty. Well, what I'm doing is I'm building part of a, we'll call it a diorama. Should we call it a diorama? Should we just call it a diorama? No, yes. What many of you have been seeing, if you've been paying any attention to me, I work all day, I cook your dinner, I wash your poo-poo undies, and you don't pay any attention to me. If you paid any attention to me, you would know that I've been building these dioramas as a thing that I've been showing in the gallery. And the show has now come down. And I had a rather large piece that was 18 inches times 8 in 13 inches times 8 in circumference. It was on an octagonal column, and now I have placed it in, I've cut it in vaguely in half, not exactly in half, but partially in half. I bisected it and then I trimmed it. And the trimming, okay, where's my glue? In my pocket. And there were two sections of the piece that did not fit in its new location. So I thought, well, what am I going to do with these? Should I throw them out? Well, no. I never throw anything out, as you well know. You know that thing that used to be an apple that's now kind of green and brown. You know, I might have used for that at some point in my life. So what I'm doing now is I took two of those sections and I've placed them on either side of my door, the entrance to my house. So I will show you it in reality, but I will draw it out first. This is a knife. Can I find a piece of paper in my house somewhere? Yeah, let's take a big piece of paper. I don't need a big piece of paper here. Take my newish, whatever this is, piston filler. What is this? Piston fill. Okay, so here's my door. And it's clad in copper metal with rivets and all sorts of stuff, patinaed copper. And I'm maybe this tall. Let's pretend I opened the door and I just came out of the shower. You'd see me dripping wet, my washboard abs, my pecs, my glutes, my whatever they are. So the door is about this big, so let's say 8 foot tall. So on this side, I have one of the panels, and on this side, I have another one of the panels. And I'm building things that are going to go up here and go above on either side, and then I'm going to have the ceiling of the hallway is there, and I'm going to have a tightrope and then maybe a bicycle with a circus thing and another thing, or maybe I'll have the flying Walendas all falling off to their doom. So what I'm building, this side is going to be mainly buildings being built. This will be the serious side, maybe. And I'm going to expand it out this way a little bit and then this way. And this is going to be the more frivolous side. And this is going to have the statue of Peertopia being erected. And it's going to be, the crane will be going off, the crane I'm building here will go up like this and then over like this, and we'll be holding the statue that's going to be pulled in by yellow guidelines to its post. And then there's going to be more structures coming up here that are maybe a little bit more playful than this, going up to the next thing for the flying Walendas, the falling Walendas. And then I've got the clouds, which are sort of Art Deco here in the background, made of cardboard. And then right here, there's a rain line. A rain line is like a rainbow, except it's a line. It's a spectrum that I found on a box somewhere. What's missing here? Do I need to add a fig leaf? I'll just make this suitable for children. Pretend that's a fig leaf. Hi. There. So that's the plan. Now, I've been having fun with this project for a while, and I have a lot of elements that I could add to this. So I may extend as I wish. Maybe I can extend further out, but right now they're columns on the side of the door. And I think it's kind of fun. I think it's fun. So this is what I'm doing. I'm building a crane holder upper. And I wanted to, I thought I wanted to make this half a little tiny bit more frivolous than the other half. So I thought I would, even though a crane doesn't have that, I'm going to make it look a little Dr. Seussian. So, this needs a little tiny bit of a support. So this is going to come up here like this. And maybe go over here like this. An articulated thing. I don't know what this is going to be doing, what this means in the crane building world, but let's pretend you wanted to have your drinks near, or that's the staging area. Dough. It's kind of nice, isn't it? Let's add this. It needs a little counterweight on this. This is not quite even, as you can see, so we have to add a little tiny bit of a counterweight over here. Perfect. Balance. What do you think? Okay, I'm going to continue forward. I've been having fun watching this guy on YouTube who reminds me a lot of someone in my building. Voice is almost identical. Frighteningly so. And his name is Nick Zentner, I think. And he's a professor of geology in some college or university in Washington State. And so I've been falling asleep, not because he's boring, but I just watch it when I'm in bed trying to go to sleep. And it's a nice repetitive delivery, and his and every once in a while, I might learn something. There might be something I learn. And but he has really a neat delivery, and he sounds a little bit like a preacher, because he will tell you, he will repeat things in an interesting way, rather than saying it or there, when he could easily use one word instead of 6. He uses the 6 over again. Pacific Northwest. And he's giving the lecture to people that live in the Pacific Northwest, and they're all in the Pacific Northwest. And they know that he's talking about the Pacific Northwest. But he'll say, and here we are in the Pacific Northwest, where you have this kind of basalt. And in the Pacific Northwest, this basalt that we have here in the Pacific Northwest is a particular color, etc., or whatever he might say. He doesn't. And you think you want to slap him and say, no, don't repeat yourself like that. But it's really, it sets up a very nice rhythm to the thing. This is kind of stupid, isn't it? Anyway, in his lectures that he would give in the college at an auditorium, he would every once in a while, "You doing okay? You doing okay?" He'll ask the audience. And the audience does seem, it's not an audience of students. They tend to be adults of a certain age. You know, I see a lot of bald heads and gray hair in the audience. And I don't think he's asking whether anyone's had a heart attack while he's been talking, but I think that's just sort of what he does to keep the people interested and keep them connected, keep himself connected with this group. So I really like it. It's really quite fun. You should type in geology documentary Nick Zentner, and you can hear what I mean. So, how are we doing? We doing okay? We're doing okay? Yes, we're doing fine. As you can see, I've been getting thinner, using thinner pieces as they go up to the top. Even though it doesn't look like I care much about things like structural integrity, I know that that needs to sort of happen. Now, what is the crane of this cab going to be? I want it to be somewhat more fanciful than the other ones I made. Oh my, I cut off, there was a coat of arms back here by hunterboots.com by appointment to His Royal Highness, the Duke of whatever, or the Prince of Wales, or whatever it was appointed to. So what these things are, they have at the top of these things, they've got a crane that has all of the machinery in it that makes the thing go up and down and pull back and forth, and then it has an arm that goes up and down and back and forth, swings to and fro, and then it has a little cab where the driver sits and pays attention to what's going on, back and forth, to and fro. You see, I'm channeling Nick here in my. I should decide which way I want the crane to go, shouldn't I? Do I want it to go to the right or to the left? I think it needs to go to the right. It has to go this way. It has to go. And then there's a counterweight that's added to the far side of the moon here, and it's keeping it heavy. So I might make this part of it black. The counterweight is here, the guy in the cab is going to be over here, and then the crane is going to be here, and all the rigging and rigmarole will be elsewhere. So I guess this is not becoming as Dr. Seussian as I thought it might be. Could I bump into my hand? See, part of the reason I'm doing that is maybe will be solved by the fact that the wires that are plugging my phone in to the power cable and the thing that's holding the phone above me will be not right there, and the cord that's plugged into this thing will not be hitting my chinny chin, both of my chins. It'll be, in fact, coming out from that direction, and it won't be in my way at all. You think that would be possible? Okay, so now I think I need, can I use this for anything? That looks like that could be kind of a pulley-like device. You'd see right here. And of course the pulley-like device needs to have a little arm that connects it down there a little bit, doesn't it? We have a new show coming up in the gallery, the pandemic show, which I think I've already discussed with some of you at some point. But we also have another show called Constraints, and I'm working on pieces for that as well, which are going to be, there, that little tiny piece is needed, which are going to be, I'm going to make heads, faces, masks, or whatever we want to call them, out of boxes, as I have been doing. But the shtick is going to be that they will all be made only of one box per mask. Now I've done that somewhat already, but I'm going to do it more. I'm going to, come on, Pierre. You know, there's just too many chords in my life. I need more counterbalance there. Here I have my little cab. So it's going to be the what was I talking about again? Constraint show. It's going to be about artists who are working within some sort of constraint. Now we all work within some sort of constraint. It's usually self-imposed. You go to the store to buy your canvas, stretched canvas, and you choose 8x10 rather than 12x16. So that's the constraint, but it's a choice. Then you have other kinds of constraints that are less your choice, but more your client's choice. We want our pool to be, we don't want it to be kidney-shaped because the Johnsons have a kidney-shaped pool, and we don't want to be like the Johnsons. So we would like you to make our pool be spleen-shaped. And you try to explain to them that the spleen and the kidney are more or less the same shape, but because they're your clients, they don't understand. That's the given. No. We think it's a good idea. Yes, okay, thank you. So you do it. So this will go up here, and then there'll be this arm that goes over this way. And then I'll add ropes and pulleys and other such brouhaha on that. Now, I'm sure that you've been asking yourself, Pierre Gustafson, how do you know what these things look like? I didn't see you type in tall crane on a Wikipedia just now. How do you know what a crane looks like? And I will show you how I know what a crane looks like, because we got a bunch of them sitting outside our window, hammering away and moving and beeping and doing everything that cranes do, and people that operate cranes. So we have it all. Okay, I think I'm going to do this here. No, cut that down. Here we go. That looks better. Sort of looks a little dangerous, which is what these cranes look like to me anyway. Okay, now comes the arm. This doesn't have to be extended out that much. How you doing? You all right? That working okay for you? Anyway, he's very fun. I like him. He makes me smile. And Prozac, I know you've heard about this many, many times. Prozac only does so much. And if you can play the ukulele, if that makes you smile, if you can ride your bike and that makes you smile, if you can put a banana peel on the floor and watch someone fall, if that makes you smile, sometimes you just have to do that. We take the path that, whatever, that path to take. Oh, I don't want an O in the middle of this thing. I'm saving my O's. Those are going to be rivets and such like. Okay, so that'll be one side. Give me another. Always. I'm cutting it in half and gluing it to the earlier portion because all wolving that it means. I'm respelling the words here, but I needed to make it stronger, and it had a bend. Sometimes my neighbors, when they bring these things to the recycle area, they already bend them and cut them in half to make them more condensed, not realizing that Per Gustafson needs them to be unbent and folded and mutilated. He can do that himself. Got that? With me? Still with me? I should send him a love letter. Nick, not a love letter, but you know what I mean. A letter of appreciation. Dear Nick, though you may not want to know this, I watch you with enthusiasm while in my bedroom, in my bed, falling asleep. I think he'd get the joke. You might be thinking that this is too wide, and you might be right about that. So we're gonna add a little thing there to make it seem like this was an extension that they added to make another little pulley. The thing with these kinds of cranes and stuff, there's a million different ways of designing them. And you think you got them all figured out, and there's another one. Oh my God, that one has 3 extra pulleys, or that one's missing the little drink tray that Per Gustafson showed. You'll discover that most of them are missing the drink tray that I showed. So just letting you know in advance that. Now I had been building these things in the gallery where I had not 1, not 2, but 3 8-foot 8-foot tables at my disposal, and the floor. Yeah, I just glued it to the table. Can I? And the table and the floor. So my working on my desk is a little tiny bit of a cramp of a style, but see, I mismeasured that one, that's for sure. Where's this one gonna go? Make it a little thinner, a little shorter. You're not going to see the back of this. You're only going to see the front, the red side. Ooh, look at that thin one. Wafer thin. But monsieur, it is only wafer thin. Almost got it. Almost got it right in the glue. That looks almost structurally sound. I think I need to put a little cross piece right in the middle there. I mean, logically, there'd probably be 1 or 2 right here because we're dealing with added structure. Maybe this is going to hang off a little bit on the bottom side. Here I sound like Bob Ross. Yeah, a little happy crane. We're going to add a little pulley on that one. This is supposed to represent a pulley. See? Does that look like a pulley to you? So this is going to go off of this. Kind of like that. And that's going to go on top of this. You can't see what I'm doing. It's going to go on top of that. And this whole thing, let's pretend I glued it all together. Can I walk out of here? I think I can walk out of here. You know, the masks that you wear are also good in keeping your double chin. It's like a bra for your double chin. So here's one part of my door. There's the cloud. There's the rain line. Here's the other half. And this is going to go sort of here. Here maybe. I'm not quite sure where it's going to, maybe it'll go here. Because the base of the thing is there, Puretopia. And the crane will go off to this area. But I do need something that will go all the way up to connect with the guide wire of the other thing. So that might be that could be maybe something else. Let me show you where I'm finding all of these things. My chin staying put. How are we doing? Doing okay? Look at all this cool stuff out here. We have cranes and workers and more cranes in the distance, and we've got this train track and all this rigmarole. Then over here, we're just surrounded by it. We've got tracks on 2 sides of us, and they're out hammering and drilling and pouring cement, and it's quite fun. So these are sort of modeled after the cranes way over there in the distance. There's 3 of them or 4 of them around here. You know, that system of asking the audience how they're doing works well for people like Nick who have a real audience. Because I don't have a real audience, it's kind of stupid. It's good for him, too. He doesn't have a real audience now. He's doing these shows out of his backyard. But he does have a live audience.